What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Tom and Joey Entertainment, a.k.a. TJENT. This is Real Talk with Tom and Joey, episode 6. I am one of your hosts.
8. 10. Episode 40.
40 minus 34. Episode 6. I am one of your hosts, Joey Prokes, and alongside me, as always, is my partner in crime. I almost said you're my partner in prime.
I was going to say, that was
partner
close.
in prime.
Partner in prime. All
partner
right.
in crime.
Yep.
Tom Hazelwood. Tom, how you doing?
I am fucking fantastic.
Wow.
I had a great day today.
Nice.
Fantabulous day.
Yeah, I had a pretty good weekend myself, and I'm pumped for the week upcoming because new Uncharted comes out this week.
Hey.
Then Everybody's Golf comes out the week after.
Thank God.
Yep. Yeah, the beta.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go super ham on it on the weekend. And
Probably.
Dortmund won their season opener 3-0. They look great.
Yep.
Christian Pulisic. It's my dog.
The American Outlaw.
Yeah.
More importantly, Chelsea won.
Yes.
That's way
more important.
That's way more important.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yep.
So we both had good weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to get things started. This is Real Talk with Tom and Joey. Every single week, Tom and I bring two random topics of discussion to the table for your entertainment, while most importantly, keep it real. If you enjoy what we do, head over to patreon.com/TJENT, where you can throw us a few bucks to support. You can get early show access, get other sick-ass rewards. But if you don't want to do that, it's all good.
Whatever.
It's all good in the hood. You can tune in every single weekday here on youtube.com/TJENT. We're at noon Eastern time. We'll post a video topic by topic, day by day, until the full episode goes up on Friday.
Sounds pretty good.
So what happens if they don't want to watch us on the video?
Can they listen to us?
They can listen to us. You know how they can listen to us?
An 8-track player.
On the go.
On an 8-track player.
On the 8-track player. You can definitely put it on an 8-track. That would be complicated, but you could definitely pull it off.
You can figure it out, yeah.
Yeah. They can go on iTunes, search Real Talk with Tom and Joey, or any combination of that. You should be able to find us. Look at our sick-ass logo.
And SoundCloud.
Yes. And SoundCloud.com/TJENT.
Pretty much the same thing, but
Yeah.
I mean.
You see a pattern with our URLs.
Yeah.
And if you give us a subscribe and a review on iTunes, that would be huge. Give us into more eyes, ears, and orifice as well.
Pro orifice, as always.
As always. So without further ado, let's swan dive into this episode.
All right.
My first topic.
Gonna be a little bit somber.
Yes, we're gonna get serious.
Somber, aggravating, blech.
Eye-opening.
Yes.
At least at first for us.
Yes.
And it's going to get, dare I say it, real. So my
Whoa.
first topic of...
It's gonna get real talk.
Yes. With Tom and Joey. So my first topic of the day is just a general topic about what happened in Charlottesville. I think it was last weekend.
Last Saturday, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because the march with the tiki torches was on Friday night.
Right.
And
yeah, there was like 2,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of hard to decipher, but there's like 2 rallies or whatever.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
and then the violence, the big day where the actual rally was going to happen on Saturday.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So obviously it was what everybody's been talking about last few weeks, and then obviously we're not going to touch on much of Trump because everybody knows that with his
What he said.
Yeah, what he said, his reaction to it, and you've heard it from all different sorts of sides. So I don't really want to talk about Trump, but I just want to talk about our reaction to it, and in particular, I remember watching. If you haven't watched the Vice exclusive special that they did on the Charlottesville rally,
Pretty damn good.
yeah, you should definitely check it out. It is very, very eye-opening. And one of the things that it opened my eyes the most with, and it's maybe, I mean, call me ignorant, I guess, but I just didn't know I mean, racism obviously still exists, but I
Yeah.
meant to that extreme, like to the point
Yeah,
where people,
I was in the same boat, for sure.
several people are out carrying Nazi flags
Yeah.
and just posting up with swastikas all over the place.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know to that extreme that still existed on such a grand scale, to the point where they're rallying and organizing and putting on these. I mean, there's large amounts of people doing
and
this.
what I thought was kind of weird was, so the KKK, they changed their name. They tried to change their name. It was KKKK. They, for whatever reason.
4Ks?
Yeah, last year. And it was because they now don't encourage violence. They just think that they're the superior race, but they don't want to do the flag burnings, or not flag burnings, the cross burnings and stuff like that. So I thought, you know what, maybe even these radical groups are just starting to lose so many numbers and so much size that they're kind of irrelevant. So when I hear, oh, there's Nazis, I'm like, okay, but Are they really Nazis, or are these just like a bunch of confused kids who don't
'Cause
really understand what they support?
Nazis, fascism, like that those terms get thrown around so
Like,
easily.
yeah, exactly. So my knee-jerk reaction was, okay, are they really Nazis? But when you have 3,000 dudes chanting, "The Jews will not replace us,"
Blood and soil.
and strapped with like 6 different types of guns
Yeah.
just on you, and talking about how, I mean, you wouldn't even let your daughter date or marry a Jew.
Yeah. Yeah, that was from that Vice report.
Yeah.
Because they were talking to the leader of the rally,
Yeah.
and he is batshit.
Yeah, and there was a lot of leaders saying, we embrace violence, we don't instigate it, but we're glad that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, and saying, oh, it's only going to get worse. This is only the start. And then the leader of the KKK in North Carolina said he's glad that girl died.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, I just didn't. Maybe we're both in the same boat of ignorance, but I just did not think that people like that still existed.
Mhm.
And if they did, they didn't have an audience. It
Yeah.
was 10 people in the middle of bumfuck wherever.
Yeah.
And I would never see them again
And
ever.
And the thing is that there's obviously, I mean, you get some of the stereotypical like people that you think would be a part of that crowd,
Right.
But then there's also like the big, like some of the headlines of the story, especially of the Tiki Torch March, was there was a bunch of like high school and college kids in polos,
Yeah.
like marching. It's
Yeah.
not just like your stereotypical or how the media portrays like a Trump supporter or
Right,
somebody that would be
yeah.
a part of this rally.
Right.
So I think that was pretty unique, specifically when it comes to this rally. But I think, do you think that it's something like this or to this scale has kind of always existed, but in light of recent events that these people think that they have more of a platform to come out? I think when it comes, especially specifically when it comes to the rally, I think the advancement in communication and social media gives these groups the ability to spread their message and
Connect.
yeah,
Yeah.
and organize these rallies and get people.
Yeah.
Because you have people that are individuals where they might have these feelings, but
Right.
think, oh, I'm probably an outlier, so I'll just keep it to myself.
I mean, the thing is, we saw a gap of adult males probably in their 30s and 40s, and we saw adult males in their early 20s.
Mhm.
But they usually weren't related. There wasn't a lot of sun pop things, so I don't think that this probably existed for that long, because kids who are 22 years old have barely been able to form a legitimate idea probably until like the last 10 years of their life, I guess.
but you got to think it has something to do with the parents, their
mean,
ideologies and feelings.
It might, but I mean, think about all the kids that go against whatever their parents say and are just totally disbar.
Yeah, the rebellion
But
thing.
if you take that isolated incident but magnify it for 350 million people nationwide, and now they can connect to each other, then maybe they get more.
Yeah.
Because if it was families going together, it'd be way different. But it's just one kid who gets on a message board and runs with this stupid idea and then decides, oh yeah, I'm part of this group. I don't know. It's horrifying and shocking. That was a rough weekend, to be honest. I mean, we went camping the day it all happened, so I didn't really pay attention to it because
I woke up the next morning, I was like, holy shit, you guys
Yeah.
see what's going on.
yeah, and I mean, we didn't have service, so
No.
we didn't chime in or tune in at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's gross. It's so damn disgusting.
Yeah.
And I can't wrap my head around why all of a sudden. It seems so spontaneous.
Especially such on a grand scale like this.
Yeah.
Like such a big rally and such like a big enough rally to the point where this type of violence would result.
And we still have World War II vets.
Yeah.
Nazis started a world war legitimately, right? So how do a bunch of young kids who are only a generation apart from the people who fought and killed this group, how do you start that?
And you look at like World War II vets, they gotta have to be the most ashamed out of everyone.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like I risked my life to fight against these ideologies and fight against what is
And now
Nazism
you're
and
willingly
fascism.
jumping back in.
Yeah.
And then you're saying that we have the freedom of speech, we should have the right to embrace this, and everyone else is kind of pushing back against that, saying, no, not so fast. But they don't see it that way. It's just, I don't know. It's so weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, piggybacking off of that, you mentioned freedom of speech. Another thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to, I mean, it's obviously referencing Charlottesville because it's the result of what happened in Charlottesville. But companies like Google, Facebook, and I remember GoDaddy.com got rid of, I forget, was it the Daily Stormer? I think that's what
something like that,
the domain name was called. But it's these websites for these hate groups that are responsible for rallies such as Charlottesville, and they're banning them from their website. Google banned a few I think, or no, Facebook pages, obviously Facebook groups with have the same involvement with the Charlottesville rally. But I just wanted to get your opinion on what you think of these companies like taking down these websites.
I mean, it's okay. So personally, obviously, I 1,000% endorse it.
Mm-hmm.
But from does it go against the Constitution? No, because you're a business. If you're going to take the position of I have the freedom of speech, I have the freedom to say the things that I want, that doesn't mean that you have the right to use a business's platform however you want it does unless they put rules in place. If you don't like it, then start your own Google. You can't have both. The idea of freedom of speech is honestly kind of a little bit, it's kind of an oxymoron, because I can say whatever I want, but I also have to be willing to deal with the ramifications. Mm-hmm. Google is a business. They have a platform that people use. If they decide that they don't want certain things in their business, don't they have the right to say, no, you can't be in it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no infringement on someone's rights because there's still a company. They still get to make their own decisions. If they want to do the same thing for other groups, to me, it's the same thing. If Google tomorrow says, you know what, screw it, we don't want PETA on there, fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's your right as a business. If Twitter wants to, get rid of Milo Yiannopoulos, fine. That's their right. They started the company. They put up all the capital. You don't like it.
Start something else.
Start something else. And maybe you do have a base, but in this case, you don't. You have 3,000 jerks and losers who decide they're going to rally. Okay. But that's not enough to get a new Google started. Mm-hmm. So shut up. Yeah. Stop being whiny. Like this isn't infringing on your right as an American. No one is forcing you to use one thing or the other. You still got to march and make your speech, and guess what? You weren't arrested.
Yeah. And I think specifically when it comes to like the freedom of speech argument, when it comes to like comedians making jokes and then getting chastised for it or then getting banned because of it, or what was the other example I was thinking of? I can't think of the other example I was thinking of, but just in that case, the difference is that these hate groups and these hate websites are instigating these type of rallies where this violence is type of occur.
Right.
They're not instigating and coming out and saying, hey, go ram your car into the group of counter protesters, but they're instigating this type of violence to the point where they're putting people in that situation that if there's one screw that's a little loose, that something like this could happen.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like we're trying to rationalize Nazis and KKK Klan members.
Yeah.
Why? For me, I mean, I probably have I would hope not, but I probably, for some people, take it a lot more sternly than most people do. Mm-hmm. But I don't want them here. And I don't think that they deserve to have a platform because they forego that by instigating violence against people based on something that shouldn't matter to anybody.
Yeah.
But the foundations of our society are just, you do what, like for me, I believe that you have the right to do whatever you want as long as you don't you can't hurt or influence someone else's life. I couldn't care any less about what other people do if it doesn't impact my life. But you going out and saying the Jews will not replace us, you going out with your tiki torches saying that blood and soil, giving the Sig Heil, saying Hail Victory, that's infringing on other people, saying that they shouldn't be there. But the people that are actually doing the protests, they're the ones that shouldn't be there. So I think they're a bunch of whiny snowflakes, if you want my honest opinion.
There you go.
I mean, you want to be so sensitive that you need to get your little posse and get your stupid tiki torches, go for it, man. But guess what? When the internet found out who you were and ridiculed for it and they got all pissy about it, welcome to the club, man. And meet your maker.
Yeah, and there's a difference between, like, because you have some of these speakers where they're getting shut down at, I mean, the most common example nowadays is college campuses where certain speakers would go.
Which is lame, too.
Well, the thing is that there's a difference between political ideologies and political beliefs and values and, like, Nazism. Because I remember especially, I mean, your alma mater, Michigan State, they shut down Richard Spencer from coming down and speaking. And I think that is something that I approve of because that's that's spreading a different type of ideology. If it's
Yeah.
like, let's for example, like Ben Shapiro or
Or
something.
Ann Coulter.
Yeah.
Because they out in Berkeley, they had both their speeches canceled. And that's stupid.
Yeah, and that I do not support.
Because that's on the flip side of all of this. If we're going to take the other spectrum here, we have a bunch of liberal arts schools that are also doing a horrible job at anyone that has a viewpoint that's like different than mine is the devil and they can't be heard.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. And like you said, to your point, Ben Shapiro, Ann Coulter, Molly Yiannopoulos, I'm trying to think of anybody else who had a big controversy with the speech. Those are the big three, though.
Yeah.
They come in, and they're just presenting their political beliefs. But they aren't going there with pitchforks and torches and saying these ridiculous ideologies. They're just saying, we're on the more conservative side. This is why we think this is.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you listen to that and then strike up a conversation? That's opening up a platform to find a mutual agreement or mutual disagreement, but we can at least be civil and talk about it. The inappropriate way to handle that is to start your own riots and your own protests and rallies where you're sitting there with the pitchfork saying, "Oh, we don't want him to speak." He's gonna talk. You're really that threatened about someone talking at your school?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And even like when I listened to Ben Shapiro was on with Joe Rogan, and then I think I listened to Milo Yiannopoulos' interview with Joe Rogan, and then also Milo's interview with Dave Rubin, and it's to the point where I listen to some of these guys, and they almost open my eyes in some like situations and some like discussions that are being had, especially nowadays. And I find myself agreeing with them, and that's to my benefit.
That's good.
Yeah, because I'm opening my mind to different solutions and different ideas that I might have not thought of before, because I get a perspective from the other side.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, I consider myself more on the left side and more of a liberal, but like seeing, especially, I mean, because as much as I'm not agreeing with what Trump said and that there's violence on many sides, but you have instances not specifically limited to Charlottesville where protesters on the left side, quote unquote, start violence too.
And it's
like,
stupid.
and it's like Black Lives Matter. There's riots that happen, and you have these scenes where they had that shot where they were looting the liquor store, and then they're like setting police cars on fire, and it's like,
what is
that doesn't help the situation either.
Yeah.
So are they ramming cars through crowds?
Right.
No, but I don't see the violence on many sides argument, but it comes to your idea like it's pushing me more to the center because you have extremes on the left and right that don't help either side or either argument.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll beat it to death, but there's nothing wrong with hearing about other people's life. Even someone that works for HBO, works on Vice News, says, you know what, I'll sit down and listen to the leader of the Nazi rally. And I'm glad she did. That is fine to open up that dialogue. But with these groups, there's just no coming back. Because we just did, like, the leader of the KKK, David Duke, who I'm assuming, he's like the president, right?
Former Grand
Wizard, whatever
Grand
it was.
Wizard,
yeah. And or whoever it is now. And the leader of this Nazi movement, whoever his name is. If I'm sitting across the table, we fundamentally disagree on something that I hold very valuable, which is just do
quality
whatever.
of life.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And that fundamentally is such a... There's no common ground there.
Yeah.
We could agree on everything else besides that, but the fact that we won't, because it's a trickle-down effect. You fundamentally disagree with the equality of life for everyone that's here, and I can't get behind that. And whether or not you want to interpret the Constitution and the Bible your way, that's fine, because both of them are religious groups. Okay, that's fine. You can do that, but I will never be on board with that. And we're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, and I piggyback off of what I said when it comes to listening to the other side and having that be to my benefit. It gets to a certain extent where it's like you said, you can't even sit down in the same room because nothing you say will be to my benefit because I disagree so wholeheartedly with what you're saying and what you believe in, because the core values and the core beliefs are so different that it's just like we're never going to relate or compromise on any issue whatsoever.
Exactly. I mean, this sucked. This really sucked. It was really sad to see. And I will say this. There's obviously a lot of talk about race and racism in general.
I mean, do you think race relations in general have gotten worse? Or I mean, because my opinion is that race relations have not necessarily gotten worse, but the magnifying glass on it and the spectacle of social media and the media in general have just made it such a it shedded such a gigantic light on it that it's like it's always existed, but now we're actually hearing about it and reading about it and seeing it.
It's really tough, and this is something that I remember talking to someone about. I mean, we grew up in northern Michigan, very non-diverse town.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't, especially for northern states in general, there's a lot of very non-diverse small towns who were in the North, fought on the Union side. So throughout history, we didn't really see as much of the, I guess, implications or the the horrendous stuff that happened to African Americans in the South. It didn't exist in our town ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for us to view all the things that are coming through social media, I don't know about you, but when it first started to really unravel, I almost couldn't believe it because I've never seen something like that.
Yeah.
And it
not on such an grand scale.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
it just didn't register, but it's just because I grew up in a town where that didn't happen. And I think you have a lot of people that are in that same boat where they go, well, hold on now. Everyone in my town is treated with respect and properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm open to the idea that I understand that just because my town does it the right way, whatever, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen other places. So I feel like there's more of a movement to show people because they have to sort of convince people who haven't seen it before that this does go on. But how you show people is so damn important.
Yeah.
You can't flip cop cars over and throw cinder blocks through storefronts and set things on fire. It's
because that's your community that you're damaging.
Yeah.
A community that most likely stands behind you and supports your cause and the general message of what you're trying to push.
Don't shoot your foot before you walk forward.
Yeah.
And it's just,
boom.
I mean,
quote it up.
It's really tough because I don't know what it's like. I just don't. And I don't think that, I mean, I know I never will, but I'm totally game to open up and hear what people say about how they've been persecuted, blah, blah, blah. But we haven't experienced it, and we don't have that direct line. So I understand that there's a fight out there, but I'm like you in the sense that I don't know how long it's been going on because I never knew it was going on.
Yeah.
And so maybe the magnifying glass is magnifying a problem that's been there the whole time, but I would never know.
Well, then you have the counter argument to that, but the thing is that I would say would be, to a certain extent, we don't have the experience of dealing with the persecution that someone would deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
But I think the general rationale of maybe I don't even need the experience to know that if something like that happened, I wouldn't go and flip over a cop car and loot a liquor store.
For sure. It's rare. The thing is, it's a dark issue and it's controversial, but I don't think it has to be so tenacious, because I think that we have a small group on both sides who are acting like dicks.
Yeah. And so far left and so far right that the majority of people are just like, I don't want to be on either side.
I don't want any part of, I just want everyone to just get along.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of people now are in the boat where true equality for them is just, I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No.
But
I care what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that should matter.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
if you're an asshole, you're an asshole.
I'm a big proponent of the idea that race relations have never been better, because we don't have Jim Crow.
Yeah.
We don't have slavery. We have had a black president.
Mm-hmm.
We've had is someone on the Supreme Court? We've had an African American Supreme Court justice, right?
That I do not know, but I know there's a Sotomayor.
Yeah.
She's Hispanic.
Oh, yeah,
Supreme
yeah.
Court
Yeah, I
justice.
mean, still, it takes time to get we're a melting pot now, and it's going to take time to get the first of every race, first woman as president.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost happened.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen. It will probably happen one day, I'm assuming.
It'll definitely happen in our lifetime.
Yeah. So I think all these sort of social issues are heading the right direction, because most people are just like, just do whatever the fuck you want. I just don't don't hurt me, my family, or influence my life in a negative way.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
What do you think about them tearing down like Confederate monuments, like the statue of Robert E. Lee? I know. And another thing, South Carolina, that was before the election. They removed Confederate flags from their governmental buildings. And my thing is, especially with Confederate flag in general, or specifically, is that people say that it represents heritage, but the symbol of the Confederate flag was designed and created because of their secession from the United States. And the reason, one of the biggest reasons of the secession is because of slavery. So it's like, I guess to a certain extent you can claim the heritage argument, but it's more so to the extent that it represents slavery and it represents that ideology and that belief that it should still, maybe not should still exist, but that ideology of having superior power and the other race being inferior, that's more so of what it represents rather than the heritage of the United States.
I think a good compromise, why don't we just open Confederate museums? So then you can keep your statues, and if you want to be part of your heritage.
They shut down that Confederate museum in the South not too long ago.
Yeah, but that was one. I'm talking like a historical museum, kind of like the Holocaust Museum in D.C. They kept a lot of swastikas. They kept, German Rugers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good balance of, okay, the people who are saying, oh, I want to preserve my heritage, guess what? It's all on display. You can go read about it all you want. But then the people who are saying, listen, this flag represents slavery in the darkest time in U.S. history. It's not a part of our society. Let's not go back there, but remember what happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, put it on an exhibit in a museum like the Holocaust Museum, because it's not putting it in an exhibit in a museum and like saying this is what we're proud of the heritage. It's learn from it, be educated about what happened. Yeah. Don't be ignorant when it comes to this situation.
These are the people that, because Robert E. Lee was a great general. No one's going to argue that.
Yeah.
I mean, no one would.
Yeah.
Because he had no resources and he did everything that he could. But I don't agree with his stances on slavery. I don't think that should be that controversial of a stance.
No.
So why not put him in a museum and you can say these were all the accolades he got. These were all the things he did, but he did it in the name of slavery. And someone reads that and goes, wow, okay, so this is part of the South. I'm from, let's say, Georgia. From Georgia. This is a part of our history. This is what happened. Let's not go back there, but let's remember what happened.
And it's funny because I had a class on just like the causes of the Civil War, what led up to it, what went on during it. And it's funny because one of the biggest things that I learned from that class was that if the people the heavy hitters that were involved in that discussion on either side would have approached the situation diplomatically like we're proposing, then a situation like the Civil War could have been avoided because you look at the biggest reason why the Civil War happened was because the South wanted to keep slavery and the North wanted to abolish it. But the thing is that what Abe Lincoln was all about was abolishing slavery, like, and cutting it out. No, like, recollection, no reparations for the South, just cutting it out. It's no longer legal. It's illegal everywhere, countrywide, right away. But the thing is, if they would have just sat down and talked to each other and diplomatically, maybe Lincoln would have proposed phasing out slavery. And it's like, you can keep it. It won't expand to the new territories because that was another big deal. So it won't expand to the territories, but we can phase it out of certain states so your economy doesn't crash and burn.
Right.
Because that was the South's biggest argument. But if they were to just approach the situation like that way back in the day, it relates to the situation that we talk about now.
Yeah. I do find it interesting that we talk so much about race, and I feel like a lot of other countries don't.
Yeah, right? I was thinking about that earlier today.
Because I had a friend who's from England, and he was talking about the news, blah, 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 and I remember talking to him, and that issue just never really came up.
I feel like immigration would be more on the level of what I feel like race is magnified in the U.S.
That's probably true.
Because, you think about, that's what makes the United States so unique geographically is that we're so far away from everything.
Right, yeah.
But Europe, they're all right next to each other.
Yeah, we have Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Mexico, barely.
Yeah.
It's one border.
Mm-hmm.
It's not surrounded.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's definitely interesting to think about what other countries view, especially our situation in particular, and what race relations are like in other countries.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty heavy topic, but definitely one that
we had to talk about.
Yeah, you need to address it, and it needs to not address it in a hostile way, but address it in a way that you can learn from it and learn about how society works.
And why is this happening now?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah, is why is it happening?
And here and now.
Mm-hmm.
Why now?
Truth.
Here.
Now.
Now.
How? What? Why? How?
Where?
How now, brown cow?
How?
So Tom.
All right.
Numero uno topic for El Tom.
We're going to make it fun because the last one was dark.
Yeah.
So we're going to say...
Dark.
Yeah. Dark. Literally.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the context was dark.
Yeah. We're gonna go with if you won the lottery, and I'm talking the Powerball.
Yeah, like
So-
350 mil.
No, more than that. Because
Oh.
remember the Powerball last time got up to like 1.2 billion.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
We're
Yeah.
talking buku bucks.
Okay.
No taxes either, because
Yeah.
you know.
So whatever the lotto is what
screw
you
Uncle
get.
Sam.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's my question. I do what I want, Uncle Sam.
exactly. So we'll make it 1.2. We'll make it 2 billion. Let's just round up.
Round up.
2
Why
billion.
not?
2 billion bucks, Joey. You get it. What do you do with it? And I'm gonna put a little bit of a twist to it.
Okay.
I don't want to hear that you're donating to charity or giving it to your parents, because everyone would do that anyway.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have a conversation about the 20 different charities that are about to be
Right. No, I understand.
Funyuns. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I would do the same thing. Of
Mhm.
course, I'd buy my mom a house. Of course.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do for yourself?
Okay. I mean it doesn't directly have to do with charity, but I would develop my own show and
right.
make it like an eco Shark Tank.
Mm.
So like a Shark Tank based show. I mean, if you don't know, I mean, obviously, lots of people know what the idea of Shark Tank is that people that have these inventions and these products come in and pitch it to these group of investors who choose whether or not they want to invest in it. And it would just be me. Just walk into a room, it would just be me and maybe you. Yeah, there's you and me.
All right.
They would walk into the room and the specific topic of the products that they would have to bring in would be eco-centered. So it would be like...
Because a lot of them on Shark Tank are eco-friendly now.
Yeah, but I
But-
mean eco-centered as in like...
Oh, like building stuff for the environment?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay,
so
gotcha.
I'm talking products that people would
Solar
come in
panels.
and... Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
people would try to bring in inventions that would convert salt water to fresh water, products that would help clean up the oceans
Your
world
fancy
full
fresh
of
water.
plastic, and ideas with solar panels, maybe a pitch about a solar road, because I've seen glimpses of that where people try and do things, and if we can get that on a grander scale,
Mm-hmm.
and all that needs is money behind it,
That's true.
because nothing matters or no other details matter in today's day and age.
If you have money for it.
Yeah. Cash. Sweet cash is all that matters.
Retiring at 22, 23 would be pretty
dope.
fun.
Yeah.
Just
And just
sit
sitting
there.
back and saying, yeah, you know what? That's a pretty decent product. I'm going to
Yeah.
invest in that.
Yep. That would be
Give you my money now and probably make it back
Would you
tenfold.
would you tell people that you won the lottery?
No. Would you tell people that you won the lottery?
I don't know.
How else would you explain getting $1.2 billion?
I mean, you could just say stocks.
I've had a lot of pieces and a lot of
Casino.
fingers in a ton of places.
Oh, I'd
yeah.
go to the casino for sure.
There you go.
And walk in there, but I'd still
Let it
play
ride.
like I'd just play poor man's blackjack, but bring in like $1,000 and just still do $3 minimum bet, because the chances of you losing all that at $3 bets is 0.
Joey, how'd you get a $1 billion? I'm really, really good at blackjack.
I got sick at it actually. I just sit there and I just don't leave until I win.
So gamble, is that
So-
the only thing you would do if you
Oh,
won the lottery?
probably. That'd be 99% of my time. No, I would definitely. I've always wanted this. Okay, I would never buy like a huge house.
Mhm.
That doesn't really interest me
No,
that much.
the thing that I would spend my money on, I mean, I would spend the things inside the house,
Yeah.
but location is where I would more spend the money.
Yeah, water.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
just like my own island.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, you can. I don't know if you've ever seen House Hunters, but they have shows where you can go buy your own island.
Doesn't Richard Branson have his own island?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of celebrities do. There,
With
some
the
of them,
throne room with
well,
the toilets looking out to the
yeah.
ocean.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. But there's a lot of cheap islands. I mean, you can get them for under 100,000.
No shit.
Yeah,
What
but
am I doing?
you got to think that you have piping and internet service, cell service. Those type of things don't exist out there.
Yeah.
Grocery stores don't exist. So if you're gonna drop $80K on getting your own island, you better be ready.
Bring a bow and arrow and that's it.
Yeah. No, I've always wanted. This would be so sick. I want a house where the driveway has hydraulics and lifts up, and then you drive inside the driveway.
So it would be like a makeshift driveway. So like
Oh,
it would
no,
look
these
like
are-
a driveway, and then it would open up, and you drive into
down
like a
it.
parting complex.
Yeah.
Underneath your
Yeah,
house.
they're $500,000. I looked it up.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
no,
That's,
they're
you got
there.
numbers and everything.
Oh yeah, no, I've thought about this.
I haven't financed out my production of my eco Shark Tank show, but
It would get there.
It would get there. I would have enough money with $2 billion.
Would you buy a car?
I would. Yeah, I would probably buy a car.
Oh, I would have. Oh yeah.
Half of my money would go towards a car.
No, I wouldn't be that dumb, but I would.
I don't know what
Come on.
car I would buy if money was not an object.
That
Maybe
Beamer, the i8.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I would buy.
Yeah, I
the BMW i8
Yeah.
for sure. That car is the sexiness of sexy.
Yeah. I would try. Oh,
That
I
didn't
would.
make any sense, but you get.
Yeah.
I love it.
I would definitely do a tour of every Premier League stadium
Oh yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Drop whatever I'm doing. We're going to every single game.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone. Like the top 6.
Top 100 things on my bucket list are being checked off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'd go to Fiji. Fiji would be sick
Fiji would be sick
because they have underwater hotels. 15 grand a night.
What's that other Ibiza? That was the other like super
Yeah.
popular like
Ooh,
tropical place.
Yeah. Well, Ibiza's in Spain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
You're thinking of Bora Bora.
Yes, that is what I'm thinking of.
The every girl's wet dream, Bora Bora.
Yeah.
Because no matter who you are, if you've ever talked to a girl and asked about Bora Bora, it's like they saw the heavens shine down on them and go, Bora Bora, I want to go there.
That's amazing.
For no other reason. I don't even know the reason.
So
it looks cool.
Yeah. So just what
Ooh,
you didn't.
private jet.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Maybe. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
do you have anything else that like on a grander like scale?
Like helping people.
Yeah. Well, not even helping people, but like helping.
No,
not necessarily
actually,
helping.
no. Boom, got it. So I wouldn't. I've never been one of those people that wants like a big ass house, but I definitely would want like 2. So one in the U.S. and then one overseas. Put it in South Africa. Start my own wildlife conservation plan.
Boom. There you go. Now you're
Without
talking.
not even close. Like have a house there.
Section off as much as possible.
Oh yeah, buy South Africa at that
Yeah.
rate. Or somewhere in Africa and just sit, like Africa.
Africa.
Get my own safari and just sit there with the animals and become one with all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, because all you
Wild
need is a
Thornberry
shitload
style.
of cash, and
They'll like me.
yeah, you can just chill
Animals
with
can be
lions.
bought. I can buy animals love.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I'm convinced.
Another thing that I would do is that I would get like a helicopter and go on a safari, because the most outrageous thing that's like on towards the top of my bucket list that I've always wanted to see is see a cheetah run full speed. And see a mammal run 75 miles an hour. I feel like that would be so badass.
I would definitely underrated purchases if you're loaded. Chef.
Oh yeah,
Like-
nutritionist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shredded and enjoy my life.
I will
at the
have a
same time.
trainer, a chef, a masseuse, and a maid.
Or just develop a
Without a
technology
doubt.
where all you have to do is lay in bed and then it just shapes your body.
Yeah. I'm definitely also, side note, because I'm not a big boat person, but I would definitely buy a nice ass yacht, get my 10, 15 best friends, and just say, I'm going to pay you guys all $100,000. We're just going to go out and have fun for a year.
Yeah,
For an entire year, I'm cooping everything, but I'm not going alone.
that'd be sick.
Yeah. That would help the community.
Well, there you go. That would definitely be something that would help more people, the greater good. But the biggest advantage of like an eco shark tank, I guess for my own personal advantage, would be just like that investment thing, because I would just want to generate a platform where someone could just have like this most unique, crazy ass idea that all it needs is a little bit of cash.
And it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would invest in Tesla for sure.
that would be dope.
I don't know what.
Tesla car, that would be
That,
up there.
oh yeah, that would be when the newest self-driving update comes to fruition. Boom, done.
Yeah, just
Then I'm good.
cash it in, blank check.
Yeah, it's just $100,000, 20, 400,000. Yeah, good.
Would you want to buy a sports team?
Ooh, whoa.
If I had enough cash, I mean, I'm running low on my $2 billion at this point.
Yeah, because
if I'm starting my
the
eco
Clippers
shark
were
tank.
bought for $2 billion, so that's.
Oh, there it goes. That's
a
how
lot.
it's gone. Because
But
I
you
was thinking
could-
about how I could buy
You could co-own.
Borussia Dortmund, but
You could
is that
co-own
the right
though.
side? Yeah, there we go. Huh?
You could co-own though.
Yeah, there you go. Because I feel like,
I'll go halfsies.
yeah, me and you going on the Lions. Because then I feel like
Ooh, I
like,
would do that.
there you go.
I would do that.
Partners and going on the Lions. Because all this talk and all the like my fandom as a Detroit Lion fan, as what's the word I'm looking for? Despised or just whenever you say you're a Detroit Lions fan, people are surprised. It's like, how can you deal with that?
Being horrible all the time.
Yeah, how can you
That's
deal with
not fun.
being a fan of that sport organization? But I feel like owning a sports team and being able to literally do whatever you want
Yeah.
with it.
Oh,
would be dope.
I'd get dirty.
Oh yeah,
People are getting paid under the table to come to my team.
just the shadiness of shady.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, Richard Sherman.
Hey,
Hey, Le'Veon Bell.
yeah, there you go.
You want $50 million a year? I'll just give it to you personally.
Or like create a university, create your own college.
Whoa. Nah, that's too much work.
Too much work. Yeah.
I mean, at some point, I gotta think.
Well, if you own it, I mean, at any point, if you own a business to the point where it like
It runs itself.
yeah,
I'd own my own bar for sure.
yeah, because you want. I remember because I was waiting for you to mention your own brewery.
Yeah. Oh, that would happen real fast.
Yeah.
But I would be that owner that buys it and goes, guess what? I'm just gonna show up and drink all the time. That's about.
It's a great owner.
That's gonna be my job.
Yeah.
So, have fun.
Yeah. Have fun running my business. I'm just gonna get wasted.
I'm gonna get my.
Who's that guy in the back? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, it's just the owner. He owns this place.
Woo!
You guys, I know the owner. He's like super cool. You want to know what his name is?
Yeah.
It's me.
It's me.
I'm the owner.
I'm totally the owner.
Woo!
Woo! Roadhouse.
Everybody, quiche is $5 off.
No, I would definitely. I would just like to have like a nice house with just just working shit in it. I don't need just the fanciest of the fancy. And I'll never be like that.
So would you want to be one of those people that you wouldn't work a day in your life? Or would you want to have something?
I mean, if you love what you do, then you never work a day in your life, Joey. So
I mean, I guess so.
like, come on.
Everybody knows that's the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only happy if I'm working 150 hours a week. No, I would definitely, because I don't have super expensive tastes. If I had more money, I'm sure that would change a little bit.
I would implement my money into like, because you talk about that my eco Shark Tank idea. Yeah. I would implement my money to create my work. So it's like you come up with, or you have a kick-ass product that comes to your front doorstep with the Shark Tank, and you invest in it, and then that would be my work. Would be working on that product to create it and make it mainstream enough to the point where it actually positively affect like the world.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's too much work for me.
Yeah, too much.
I mean, $2 billion. Okay, if you're...
I feel like if you're that loaded, it's almost like you're obligated at that point, because it's like...
I don't know.
There's so much wealth in the world.
I would love having a phone that I just looked at and every message just said, you should really do more with your money, you fucking prick. You should do more. You should do more. I'd sit there and light it on fire.
I need another car.
Oh, God. What is it, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
I'm going to buy all the lotto tickets, so then I buy them when the lotto again.
I'm going to do this again. Because you got to think, okay, if someone's dream salary is to make $1 million a year and you're working from the time you're 20 to, let's say, 70, 50 years, if you averaged $1 million a year, you would be absolutely dumbfounded happy, right?
Yeah.
$1 million.
To the point where you wouldn't even know how to spend it all.
Yeah, you would be pumped. Well, guess what? That's only $50 million.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, okay, let's multiply that by 10 and then multiply that number by 4.
Yeah. Shitloads of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think I would work.
No.
I would just sit there and go, well, I'm paying myself to do all this.
Yeah.
It would be to the point where.
Well, you wouldn't work. You would just invest. But not invest to the point where you would do anything, but you just be like, invest to the point where you're just, I mean, it'd be stupid not to with that much money.
I mean,
so you're just quadrupling and multiplying your money.
It's funny because, I mean, how much money do you need?
Yeah.
Because at that point, like I said, I could live off of $1 million a year for the rest of my life, perfectly happy.
For sure.
And I have
talking a lot of.
I have a pretty nice safety net. So, I mean, if you want to invest, sure. But, I mean, at that point, for me, I'd just be like, I don't even care anymore.
You just don't want to multiply your money?
Well, I just don't need it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend it. I wouldn't have...
No inheritance?
I mean, I don't want kids.
Oh, yeah. So there goes that idea.
They say when you die, you can't take your money with you. I'm taking my money with me.
Just pour it in. They bring in one of those cement trucks full of cash. I want it all in ones.
No, I would just
pour it all
donate
in my
I would just give it to some random person.
Yeah.
I would go to a restaurant and leave that as a tip. That's what I'd do.
Oh, what percentage tip
can I
do you
get a Bud Light?
I don't even know.
What's a Bud Light, like $2? Yeah. Sweet. Here's like a $800 million tip.
$800 million and $2. There's my total.
Here you go.
Yeah. So Eco Shark Tank on my end, and then you just
living it up, dude.
Living it up, living the life.
Yeah, not even close.
By all means, I would enjoy myself.
You sure?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Okay, there we go. I'll put this in there. As soon as I win the lotto, like 5-year trip of just you get a gigantic yacht and go somewhere where it never changes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 90 every single day.
Yep.
And sunny.
I'm trying to think anything cool I would buy. I don't know. I'm sure there'd be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
There you go. If you want to tell us what you would buy with the lottery, if you won the lottery, let us know in the comments section below, or go to patreon.com/TJENT. Well, if you donate any amount of money, $1, $2, $5, or $10, you can post on the wall and you might even get yourself on the show.
Dope.
And we'll talk about your lottery wishes, just like ours. So my second topic of the episode is about our channel. More in particular, is a new idea that I have for a new segment that we're going to implement here on Real Talk with Tom and Joey, because we're just looking for new content, especially because Game of Thrones, unfortunately, is coming to an end very soon.
And we'll not see it for a long, long time.
There was a rumor that it was going to be 2 years, and I almost threw up after I read that.
That's not going to be fun.
No. So with Game of Thrones coming to an end soon, we need something else to push out there to keep. And it's just, we want to expand our content and do more things.
Yep.
And in reference to my new show idea, I kind of miss talking about current event type stuff. So my idea for a new show, and obviously the main reason why I wanted to discuss this as a topic is because I want to get your guys' feedback. So if you want to let us know in the comments, and if you're listening to us on the podcast form, you can go to Patreon, or you can go to youtube.com/TJENT and then click on the video and then comment there. That'd be pretty dope.
And then you can let us know.
Yeah, let us know what your thoughts. But I digress. The idea that I wanted to have implemented into our channel was kind of a real talk with Tom and Joey from all angles. And the title is in work in progress. So that could be part of your comments. Let us know a title. But the idea is that we would address the top 3 stories that are on each website. So probably we would do it 4 different news organizations, and they would interchange throughout each week that we would do them.
Except 2.
Yeah, except 2, because the 2 that we wanted to address every single week is CNN and Fox News, because those are the 2 most popular networks. The 2 most, like, the places where people get the most of the news, whether...
Pretty polarizing, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's one that people most talk about, and how they express their news is one of the main topics of what people talk about when it comes to Fox News and CNN, like, against each other. So getting both of those perspectives would be cool on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. And then the first other 2 that came to mind when I was talking to Tom about it was NBC and like Breitbart or something. So the main idea, you can kind of see the theme, is that we want to get complete opposite views and perspectives on specific stories, because like we were talking about earlier, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be talking about the same stories and the same situations that happen.
They're just going to pitch it totally differently.
Yeah, and that's one of the main emphasis that I wanted to get with our show, is that I wanted to address the way that they express their news, because we all know that fake news and, like you said, how polarizing certain news organizations are, that's a common topic in today's society.
Yeah, and it's the idea of they're going to be the same, but they're going to turn it in a way that makes you think a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just diving into the details and figuring out, okay, this is corroborated, is this junk? What is this? What does this mean? I mean, in today's society, information can travel at lightning speed. That also means that misinformation can travel at lightning speed. And to be quite honest, there's just so much news out there that, I mean, we'll probably get pissed doing the stories, but I would just like the opportunity to just say how fucking stupid that this is news.
Yeah, exactly.
Stories are. Like, some of the stuff that people get all bent out of shape over, people freak out about, is just, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Because when it comes to the top 3 stories, we definitely want to avoid talking about Trump as much as possible. But obviously he's going to come up specifically when you talk about dealing with a show that's surrounding
with the US?
Current events, yeah, and anything with the U.S. in particular. But another thing I wanted to add in also, news organizations such as AP, the Associated Press, and Reuters as well, because those are 2 news organizations that I go to. Without a doubt, I trust anything that they publish on their website,
right?
Because they
have no taken down later. Yeah,
exactly. They have no political bias. If they put misinformation in a tweet or in a post, they tweet the correction, like they'll say, this tweet was deleted because of this, an upcoming or an updated tweet is upcoming. So then they would tweet the corrected information. Yep. So it's like they check themselves. They only put shit up if it's verified, and they don't have a political bias.
Agenda,
or agenda. That's a better word.
Now it's nuts.
Yeah, because regardless of whether you view that maybe Fox News and CNN publish certain stories that are inflammatory, in either way, like either on the left side or the right side,
Yeah.
there's definitely a political bias when it comes to those news organizations.
And it's, I mean,
because both will always...
Who would argue against that?
Yeah, because they always report legit stories, and we're not saying that every single story on either of these networks are politically politicized in a certain way, but there are a lot of stories when it comes down to that.
Is there anything with news like segments that you can't stand? Because I definitely have a few.
What do you mean?
Like, is there something that a certain news station does when they do a segment or they break off into something? Is there one that just makes your blood boil?
I think I know which one you're going to say is that the huge panels that people do.
No.
I hate when news organizations bring in celebrities to talk.
Oh, really?
Or like maybe not celebrities, because that's disregarding some celebrities that may have like are intelligent on certain situations. But I mean, just as a reference, I told you about this the other day. I was at the gym and I saw that Ted Nugent was on Fox News talking about Charlottesville, and it's like, I'm sorry, if you want to get certain celebrities and polarizing figures on the show that may be intelligent when it comes to that, or may have like a valued opinion when it comes to that situation, but I'm sorry, like Ted Nugent, you should not have him on your news channel talking about something as polarizing with Charlottesville, especially when we've heard Ted Nugent's past comments.
Yeah, I can't stand when there's opinion pieces, like, so they'll be like, oh well, this isn't fact, this is my opinion piece, but I'm right. I'm right about this, but this is my opinion.
Even if they label it an opinion piece?
Yeah, I hate it. Because what happens is you get these guys that come out and they say, okay, these are all the facts you need to know. This is how life works. The way that they present it is a way that they are saying to everyone that's watching, this is exactly how it should go. This is exactly how the way things are. This is what they want you to believe, but this is what you should believe. Oh, but this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just think it's pretty disingenuous for someone who's working in the news organization to abuse their own power to basically just force feed their own beliefs down someone's throat instead of just, here's what we know, make up your mind.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty stupid.
So you would just have articles that just simply present facts and that's it?
Yeah, and just talk about what and say, well, this is what some people are saying, these are what other people are saying. What do you think? I think that's a lot better than, if you think that I'm wrong, then you're an idiot.
I think the counter argument to that would be, I think opinionated pieces to a certain extent are valuable. I mean, the ones that are just completely outrageous, that have no sense or no like fact-based claims, those are outrageous enough to the point where those aren't needed. But I think certain opinions can take facts and understand them and present them in a more creative way of how they can be interpreted. Maybe like as a collection of facts, not individual facts. Like they're making a twist or an opinion on a situation where it's like you can't argue what actually happened.
Right.
But they take facts and generate an opinion from it to kind of present maybe a way forward from the situation that they're talking about.
But what they do is they present only the facts that help support their own personal beliefs.
That's true. Absolutely.
They just get up there and they just go, okay, these are the facts. Nothing's ever wrong. This is exactly how it is. Yada yada yada. But that completely aligned. I've never seen someone go out there and completely poke holes in their own beliefs.
Because
why not?
And that's the thing I learned in college, especially when it comes to writing research papers, because that's something I implement in all the research papers that I've ever done, is present your argument and then dedicate a section of your essay or of your article, whatever you're writing, to the opposite side would say this, because then what you do is you say the opposite side would say this, but this is why it's wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not, I'm not
this
just
is how I would say it.
Yeah. I'm not just straight up coming to you and saying you're wrong with no basis in fact.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you why you're wrong.
And in general, I just feel that, I mean, I think it's stupid that news anchors are millionaires in general.
Yeah, that they get paid just outrageous amounts of money.
Because then what are they going to do? They're always going to go report the stories that make the most money. And guess what? The stories that make the most money, I mean, they may, I say no one cares, but obviously they do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear it.
And in terms of news anchors, especially in the first one that comes to mind is one of my all-time favorites, Sean Hannity on the Fox News. He's one of my favorites. I like the guy. Really respectable guy. Yeah. But he was in a Trump presidential ad. So it's like, how can you be a news reporter and report unbiased, quote unquote, unbiased stories and situations and appear in a political ad for a presidential candidate? How
Right.
does that simple fact of him appearing in that commercial or in that presidential ad not completely negate almost everything he talks about? Because
Right.
how is he not going to spin or put language into the story that he's talking about that will somehow support Trump?
Right. And he's definitely not alone. There's
No.
other anchors that do similar stuff.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even think, I mean, by all means, they have the right to their own opinion and their own beliefs, but when you're presenting stories.
This is your profession.
Yeah.
Suck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Other people have to do it in their jobs, and it's working out fine.
Yeah.
But your job is to present information, and it's up to the people to interpret information. So shut up. Keep your own belief system out of it for
Yeah.
like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously this kind of sidetracked into another conversation, but this general conversation of these certain news organizations come back to the reason why I want to do this show.
Yeah.
Is because I want to be able to talk about current events because, like I said, I miss being able to do that. And because when you talk about it, and especially when we do it in a show form like we do, it forces you to read more up on it and learn more about it.
Right, yeah.
And the more you talk about it, the more you learn about it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to certain situations like that in current events, that's one of the reasons why I miss talking about it. But I just want to be able to show from all angles. Hey, plug.
Yeah.
I kind of like that name, but definitely I'm way open to a better suggestion. But I think it's just worth it for people because and it's like we were talking about earlier with Charlottesville, when you see other perspectives and when you see what other sides are talking about in terms of the rationale of why they're saying what they are, it helps improve your own beliefs because maybe you hear that and want to say, I wonder if that's true. Because that's when I listen to people like Ben Shapiro and Milo, it's like I hear that and it's like, I wonder if that's actually true. And then I go and look it up and read about it and learn from it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm hearing these different opinions that don't align with mine, but I might not agree with them. But it forced me to go and
Right.
read about the
I mean,
situation.
and the other thing is, you disagree, you disagree.
Mhm.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah. It's not life or death situation.
Yeah. I'm not going to hate a person because we disagree on something.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's sports. There's millions and millions and millions of fans that don't support the team I support.
Mhm.
So what?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone acts like it's this violent attack on your character just because someone has a different idea. Suck it up.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing I'll talk about in terms of this topic in particular with our new show is it'll work the same way as our normal Real Talk with Tom and Joey works is with throughout the week. So you'll get 2 videos a day. One will be more of the random topics like we're doing now that don't really have to do with, that aren't polarizing. Though I mean, I guess Charlottesville was, but that was more so our just reaction to it.
Yeah.
So they're going to be more random topics, but then also you'll get each topic throughout the week. So each day will be like a different news organization. Will be the top 3 stories from that in particular, or that particular news organization. Or maybe we could even do it where we look at one story. If they're talking about the same thing, we could work at one story from each news organization
Right,
and have
yeah.
that be an episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can go back and forth on it and we can always brainstorm.
Depends what's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you'd have to have the same story. So
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
right. So more than likely, we would do it with 3 stories from each news organization throughout the day, but it would generate a full episode. So the same thing, a full episode would go up on Friday. And if you miss the individual episodes and you just want to listen to the whole thing as a podcast, if you're making a long commute, it'll give you the ability for that and it won't skip. You'll just hear each news organization,
Good to
each
go.
story.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of a new idea because like we said before, Game of Thrones is coming to an end and we want to be able to expand.
And I can talk about it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I could talk about how much I'm going to miss Game of Thrones, but
Yeah.
we already know that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to do it and really excited to see where it goes and how well we can present the information if I can put out exactly what I envision because God knows that's a good feeling.
Right, yeah.
So there you go. If you want to have any opinion on our new show or if you want any input or if you have any ideas for a new show that you'd rather have us do instead, let us know in the comment section below, or as always, go to patreon.com/TJENT, where you can let us know your responses there, and we will read them and listen to them and take them to heart. I promise you that. So your second topic, last topic of the week,
is a little bit rougher again, going back.
more serious, more, dare I say it, real.
Whoa, it's more real talk.
Yeah. With Tom and Joey.
So my question to you is, I'll ask you a question, then I'll preface it a little bit. So my question is, should certain industries, businesses, organizations not be allowed to pursue a profit motive. And what that means is, so when you're a business, you open up, you're always looking to make money. You want revenue, you want income, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You are trying to make profits. So there are nonprofit organizations such as public universities, whatever. But obviously there's kind of a overwhelming theme of, yeah, you might not be nonprofit, but you're kind of for profit. I mean, there's a way to work around it. But do you think that certain industries in the United States should be forced not to make profits, or do you think it's just kind of, you know what? I mean, everyone has a right to make their own money their own way. Why should one be allowed to? Why shouldn't one be allowed to and one not be allowed to?
And one of the biggest ones in one of the for-profit motive situations like you were talking about that I feel the most passionate about is for-profit prisons. And do you think that there should be industries?
What
do you mean?
Do you think that certain businesses, industries should be banned from going for a profit motive?
Yeah, certain ones for sure.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I would even say all because that would just be stupid. But
right,
definitely, yeah, I would agree that certain ones should. And especially when it comes to more umbrella type businesses, I would say anything to do with incarceration or education. Because
those are probably the two big two.
Yeah. Were there something that more like in particular that you were thinking about?
No. I mean, so for you, do you think that tax dollars should fund education or prisons, or I mean, how would you fund it?
Yeah, it would be through taxpayer.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So would that be let's say,
because when you do that, in particular when you talk about for-profit prisons, when you make it about taxpayer dollars and make taxpayer dollars funding that, you look for ways to cut that down. So in order to look for ways to cut down on incarceration costs, you look for ways to avoid incarcerations. So you get rid of laws and certain like legalization of marijuana. You take that away, you get a massive amount of the incarceration percentage that's now removed from the incarceration system, and that would save money when it comes to taxpayer dollars funding it.
It's because we've talked about it before. I think prisons being privatized, the initial idea was good. Like the intent was good because
I'm sure it was to the point where they couldn't afford to run it.
Exactly.
So it's like they had to look for that.
Right. And now it's the idea of, well, I mean, should we really have a business that their model is the more prisoners I have, the better off I'm doing?
Literally, that's what it comes down to.
Because that's tough. I mean, you need prisoners, so of course you're going to want to arrest more people than not because you have an incentive. I would say for me it's probably more so on the education side. I definitely agree. I don't think there should be private prisons now. I think that originally, like you said, it probably was the only way.
Yeah, because there's like, we can't afford this. We're having people incarcerated, especially with laws back then. There were probably obscure ones that got people arrested for some pretty dumb stuff. Right. So they probably ran out of room, was like, fuck, we can't afford this stuff. So we have to look through an outside source. And then it just exponentially grew. And
now I'm assuming you would think that public colleges should be free for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you get into a difficult situation with that because obviously we could go in for, student loan program in general could be its own separate topic, but if you do it the right way, because it's a weird topic to talk about because there's so many different things that could go into it that would then avoid the problem, because obviously you make universities free, then there's certain things that they would claim that they would not be able to do because they're not able to use tuition money to do it.
Right.
But then there's also things where if you clean up maybe like the tax program and certain companies that don't pay taxes, you would pay taxes, and then you could generate it through other avenues.
What about hospitals?
Like health insurance in general, you mean?
No, just hospitals themselves.
And what they should be free?
Should they?
Be for profit? Have a profit motive?
For profit? Because
that's and maybe that's kind of like the umbrella of my belief when it comes to for-profit. Anything that helps people or is like for the greater good of this society shouldn't be for-profit, because it's like you go into, charities could be another example too, because you have certain for-profit charities.
Well, the reason why I say hospitals is because the idea that, if you have more prisoners, the incentive behind, I have more prisoners, I make more money. Well, couldn't you make the same argument for hospitals? The
Yeah,
more
but
sick people you have.
But you can forcibly arrest people for dumb stuff and put them into your prisons and make
You
money
could
off
forcibly
of that. But
get people more sick.
what with like
Not treating them.
oh, like when they're in there at first, not treating them correctly?
Yeah.
Or you mean like immunizations?
Anything.
Yeah, I guess
Getting
that would
people
be
sick is not that hard.
Yeah, I guess that would be a different approach because you're forcibly making people sick as opposed to you're forcibly make someone a
someone
criminal.
comes in with a common cold and you say, no, this might be more serious, we need to keep you a couple extra days, but nothing was ever wrong.
Oh, yeah, in terms of that, yeah, you're totally right. Because you look at that doctor, I forget, was he in Michigan or Ohio? Maybe not either one of those, but he was diagnosing people and telling people that they had cancer.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and he
that,
went away for I think he has 50 or 60, 70 years in prison. I mean, he's going to die in prison.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would tell people that they had cancer. So in order to get that treatment of that and make all that money off of the cancer treatments, like the chemotherapy, the drugs, everything that goes into a cancer treatment, he was telling these people that didn't actually have cancer. Then he would make money. So you're right that those situations like that happen.
Same with orthodontists, dentists. I mean, would that follow?
But it would also, because you would argue that private prisons incarcerate and make money off of the incarceration rate. And it's that's a known thing. So if you're talking about doctors holding people in, or in that case, telling people they have cancer when they don't, that would be more like they're getting away with something that's already not allowed. In private prisons, that's just a known thing.
Right, yeah.
So it's like they're making money off of incarceration, and the whole higher the incarceration rate goes up. But for profit in terms of hospitals and doctors doing situations like that would be illegal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's tough because I'm all pro business, make your money, make your wealth, whatever. But I do think that as a society, there just needs to be a bare bones minimum that everyone's entitled to, because that's how societies work.
Yeah.
That's how they've always worked. That's why we have welfare. That's why we have Medicaid. That's why we have entitlements. That there's a reason why they're there. Mm-hmm. So I think that tax dollars, I don't think we should be punishing companies for being successful. And I think we do that too much, because you just think, they make billions and billions and billions. But when you really start crunching the numbers, so what?
Yeah.
Amazon makes tons of money and they barely break even. So, now they don't, but that's of recent years. Mm-hmm. So just because a company generates a ton of money doesn't mean that people are walking away with tons. But I think you have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But the pursuit of happiness is an umbrella of you have the right to be alive, you have the right to get a job, and you have the right to provide food, water, and shelter. If those things are covered, then I think that's where your entitlements end. And the problem I have is I think our standard of life has gotten so high now that everyone feels like that they should have it.
Yeah.
So stuff like the orthodontist, for instance. If people had crooked teeth for hundreds and hundreds of years, and our generation was really the first huge wave of braces.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you talk to your parents and they'll say, my parents think we're nuts for getting you braces. That happens.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't think that my tax dollars should go to giving everyone braces,
That's true, yeah.
And I think that I find it hard to make something not a profit motive, because I think that you get these isolated cases that kind of break a long chain. Whereas if you just made a system that was flexible and just said, you know what, you can do this, but you can't use this for other reasons. So maybe private prisons, you can generate a lot of income, but the money that you generate has to be used towards something else. Then maybe that's not a big deal, because then maybe it goes towards, who knows? But if you use that money, I think if you help incentivize that money to go somewhere else, then it's kind of doesn't matter what the profit motive is, because like you said, as long as it's benefiting society, then who gives a shit?
Yeah, and another point I wanted to touch on was maybe put an age restriction on it in terms of the type of business that you're dealing with, in terms of like charter schools being for profit, because you're dealing with the education of kids.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that extent, you shouldn't be for profit. But then you could make an argument or counter argument to that when it comes to the universities, because you're dealing with adults, and the student loans, they're registered in the student's name.
Right.
So it's like,
that's
yes,
them.
the tuition, the tuition rates in the United States are just outrageously high.
Right.
But you as an adult are signing off and saying, I'm willing to pay this and get the benefits of it in terms of the education. But when you have kids that are involved and you're educating kids that don't have a choice in the matter.
Right.
But I mean, obviously you can make the argument that the parents are then making that choice.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of when you're educating kids, and even when you're maybe dealing with kids in terms of medical costs, that should be a point of significance when it comes to maybe like anything under 18 or something.
And colleges are tough because
I think, caveat, do you think all community colleges should be free? Because I think all community colleges at the least should be free.
So yes, but I was going to make a point, and that's kind of where I was going, because I think that, like I was saying, bare bones, everyone deserves the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
I think the pursuit of happiness is getting a job, and I think that society dictates what requirements you need to get a job. And one of those things is an education. And I think that we talked about how trade schools aren't advertised enough. You can get a great job doing that, which is absolutely true. But if society is telling me that I need a bachelor's, then doesn't it make sense that the minimum requirement for me just being a contributing member of society is, well, then I get tuition?
And we talk about the greater good. When you get that bachelor's degree and when you get an education, especially at the collegiate level, if you're able to provide funds through taxpayer money for that education, it's simple. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just simple common sense to think that the more education you get, the more opportunities you're going to unfold.
Right.
And if you as a country, I mean, the United States is so low in the ranks when it comes to education. I mean, it's a common known fact that we are. And if you want to generate specifically
innovation and those are going to be the people who create new jobs for other people.
You want to talk about nationalism, and if you're one of those people that are anti-immigration or super nationalism when it comes to you want the United States to be the greatest country on earth, then you should get behind the fact that we should invest so much more money into education than we are.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's not free college because someone is paying for it, no matter what. It's just the idea that, I mean, we've been through college, so we know. I mean, is it really worth that much money?
Yeah. Not the outrageous amount of tuition money that you're forced to pay.
Yeah, that I'm paying. I mean, tuition rates have gone nuts now. And the president of Michigan State, I'm no fan of hers. I've never met her. What does she do for me?
It's
Nothing.
almost like you're paying for the context. It's like when people say with Apple products,
you're paying for the diploma. You're paying literally for the diploma.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, with the name of the school printed on it,
and that's it. And it's just, I don't know, but it's real tough because I think that the system's bending right now, and it will break.
Mm-hmm.
But why can't we prevent it from breaking? But I don't know. I think college is kind of a unique example because it's just the idea that it's either employers start to say, you know what, let's start doing, because my dream world is that employers fund their own institutions, and then you learn instead of going to college for 4 years and just trying to get out as quickly as possible with the best grades you can, you go to a company who teaches you a bunch of different skills. And they're providing education that's on site, and you're learning about it, as opposed to, I'm just going to learn how to pass this professor's exam.
Or they have the business, because I know a few people that have had the businesses that they work for pay for them to go back to school and learn.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, because then you get the businesses to pay for them to get a better education.
Yeah.
And for them to expand more on their knowledge, so they come back to the business and be able to present new ideas, and that's how you get innovation.
Yeah.
That's how you generate these new ideas that then put your business on the map in terms of if you're a business owner. And when we talk about the generalization of society, if you put more funds into education, we as a country will not only get better economically because getting a better education and becoming more educationally strong in terms of a country, there's only benefits. There's literally no negatives.
Right. It's just tough because everyone wants to be loaded.
Yeah.
And someone's got to do the dirty jobs that don't pay a lot. Otherwise, everything crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's got to pay for it. And if we all have to pay for it, okay, but people still have to work. Like with prisons, we need them. Whether we want them or not, we need to have them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I mean, the United States is the richest country on earth that the earth has ever seen and ever will see. And the fact that we're so low in such important things like education.
Yeah.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because if any of the other countries that you see, if we're being real here on Real Talk, the fact of it is why we're so low in education is because 610 billion of our governmental dollars or taxpayer money goes to military. But no other country puts that much to their military. And you look at if other countries that have that mindset of not putting that much money towards their military had the money and the GDP and the economy that the United States has, their education would be absolute top priority. That's why you see like school lunches, for example, like you have burgers and fries in the United States schools, public schools. Then you go overseas and they have like 4-course meals.
Right, and they're super. I mean, the portions are smaller.
Yeah, serving sizes.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would say that certain businesses shouldn't be for profit because that kind of goes against like the core. Because I've always been in the impression that do whatever you want unless it hurts me. So
yeah.
Why do I care if a business is for profit or not? But I wonder if it does hurt society that certain businesses can make money because, quite frankly, it like we said, I mean, I'm trying to find the rationalization of privatizing prisons because it's real tough.
Other than what we mentioned, like back in the day when they first became about or became a thing.
And I understand in the idea that the better security we have, the safer the people are. I'm totally on board with that. But like there are a lot of people in prison that could still benefit society that are in. I mean, I guess prisons not as much as jails because.
I mean, yeah, because we talk about private prisons. Not all prisons are private, but there are a significant amount that are industrialized.
Yeah.
And it's the simple fact of the more people you have in them, the more money you make.
The life sentencers, why not just like give them jobs to do that? I'm not saying that we're going to rehabilitate them and to be a citizen that's contributing to society because they already made their choice. They're in life. Yeah. They'll stay there.
Yeah.
But why not give them just manual labor that a company needs and help them save money and then hopefully employ more people or pay somebody else?
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Or provide more education
yeah.
for the inmates because you have the re-incarceration rate where people that are in prison that come out are back in. I mean, I don't know the exact percentage, but I know it's higher than it should be, which it should be 0.
Yeah, I think it's 75%.
Yeah.
But that could just be a fake news statistic.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, it should be 0.
Right.
And the fact of you talk about increasing education in terms of the public education that should have the right to it regardless.
Yeah.
Even if you're incarcerated, you should have the right to become educated because if you're not serving life and you're coming back to society, you don't want to be the only knowledge that you know is how to carve a shank out of your toothbrush.
Right.
You want to be able to recontribute to society and become a contributor.
Do you think that health and education is a citizen's right?
Health, I mean, I don't know enough about the healthcare system to say that, but education, 100%.
Okay.
1,000%.
I think that if you are born in America, you have the right to be. Oh man, it is tough because I am pro cut every tax known to mankind. I would love to have tax cuts up the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in office, I'd go in there with a katana and just no more.
No budget cut.
Yeah, no budget cut. But I just like at some point you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
and there's certain things that just cost money and you got to pay for them somehow. And I just feel like you can only hammer corporations. So we constrict corporations so much and demonize them so much, but I feel like if we welcome their activity more, then maybe they'd be more inclined to put their money in our own economy. And we can use that money to fund things like prisons. So I don't know. I would say that it probably is a good idea to have certain industries and not be for profit technically, because it does get rid of some of that incentive as long as it works. Because if we can have taxpayer funded hospitals and prisons that work, then I mean, what else can we really ask for?
Yeah. And my just biggest point when it comes to this topic in particular is just you can tell I'm a big proponent of education and just education on a grand scale.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's how you
That's how you excel as a society.
Especially when it comes to all the conflicts we're going to face as we progress as a generation.
They're going to get a lot more complicated
and a lot more intense and a lot more pressure of riding on them. Because I mean, regardless of what do you think about climate change, it's a thing, it's a fact, and the fact that we're going to have to come into contact with situations that present complications because of climate change, like drought and losing out of fresh water and food. Right. So, and especially the atmosphere as well. So if you develop technologies that are able to solve these problems in the future, the only way you're going to be able to get an opportunity at those chances, at those solutions, is through education.
Yeah.
It was a good topic.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
We got nowhere with it, but it was a good point.
No. It was a good topic, though.
Cool.
There you have it, everybody. There is episode 6 of Real Talk with Tom and Joey. Every single week, Tom and I bring 2 random topics of discussion to the table for entertainment, while most importantly, keeping it real here on youtube.com/TJENT at noon Eastern Time every weekday. If you like that, if you enjoy what we do, you can go to patreon.com/TJENT, where you can throw us a few bucks of support and get the show early, along with some other sick rewards, including these badass stickers.
Yes.
That are in the back of our devices. They're super awesome, and they would cost you pretty much nothing to acquire.
That's true.
Yes. But if you don't want to throw us a few bucks to support, it's all good in the hood. You can tune in every single weekday here on youtube.com/TJENT, where we break up each topic day by day, video by video, until the whole episode goes up on Friday as one big video. And if you don't want to watch us on YouTube,
no big deal.
No biggie. You can go on YouTunes. You can go to iTunes.
Face chat.
iTunes and SoundCloud.com/TJENT. And on the iTunes, if you type in Real Talk with Tom and Joey or any combination, you should be able to find us with our badass logo.
We'll be there.
Go ahead and give us a review and a subscribe on there. It would really help us out and really get us into more of an audience, which we're always in support of.
Yep.
So if you don't know,
now you know.
Now you know. Thanks for joining, everybody. We hope you enjoy this episode. Let us know in the comments if you do, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace out.
Peace.